Hey guys! So I have a few videos I want to make because I've been thinking a lot about certain things. And I've been having a lot of moods going like this, which is like no surprise, because I'm not on meds and I have not been for a very long time. And I've just accepted the ups and downs and all that stuff. And so today, well, the last couple of days actually, I've been having some real, just like, whirlwind stuff going on, which, brings a lot of stuff to the forefront of my brain and makes me see all these connections and stuff. And so then I come and make videos about it and share it with you all. But this one is just more kind of like a personal thought for anybody who knows somebody who has bipolar disorder, I guess, or if it's a family member or a friend of yours, or even, I guess, if you have it yourself too. But something that I really thought about was the interpretation of what bipolar is. And what I mean by that is like personal interpretation. Like, okay, so let's say this is one big community of bipolar people, and, we're all diagnosed with bipolar, or, self-diagnosed or whatever. Okay, so we all have bipolar, but that means something different to every single one of us, and the way that we view that is different. And I think there's this tendency for kind of society or people that have a loved one or a friend or something that has bipolar to just kind of lump everyone into the same category. Now, me, I make my videos and everything, and I don't obviously speak for every single person who has bipolar disorder. Like, I'm speaking from my own perspective. I've gotten tons of feedback from you guys and lots of people over the years of doing this that, a lot of times confirms what I'm saying, I guess, because a lot of times I just throw it out there like, this is how I feel. This is what I see going on in my life. And other people chime in and say, oh yeah, I relate. Oh yeah, I get that. That's exactly how I felt. And you described what I was going through. So it tells me that I'm not completely alone as far as how I see things, how I experience things. But again, like, the personal interpretation of it, and what I mean by that again is kind of like, for example, whether a person sees bipolar disorder as a disease or a disorder, or if they see it as like a gift. Like, neither one is right or wrong. It's totally up to each person who lives with it to decide for themselves what it means to them and how they're going to, what context they're going to see that in their own lives. And at times I think it has something to do with how we're feeling at the moment. Because when I'm feeling really crappy, and when I'm feeling like stuff is really hard, and I'm going through some really bad stuff, then I tend to look at it more like, oh, it's a disorder, and I wish I could get rid of it. But then when I'm going through the really good feeling stuff and pleasurable stuff and that kind of thing, then I view it completely differently. And I think that's okay. I think it being my life that I'm entitled to change my views, change my thoughts on it at any point in time, that I can one day think that, gosh, there's really something wrong with me, and then the next second think, you know what, okay, maybe I overreacted. And, again, part of the reason I think for that is that because the way we feel goes like this from day to day, the way we see things from day to day can change. And that is something that I didn't quite understand in the beginning of my journey, but I now get it. I now get that it's not static over time. It's not just like I see it this way and this is the way it's going to be and always will be and just is. Like, it's here, there's like points all over the place. And so I just think that's important for people who are dealing with someone in their life who has bipolar to realize that this is a subjective thing. Every person who goes through it, if you want to know what that person feels, ask them what they feel. Ask them to describe to you what it's like. Ask them to describe to you what they think about it. You know, because we are kind of the owners of our own experience. My experience isn't going to be the exact same as somebody else's, and theirs isn't going to be the same as theirs. And yeah, we're all grouped together in this one big circle, kind of, but we each have the right to say, oh, I agree with that, or I don't agree with that, or this is the way I see it, which is not the way somebody else sees it. And I think that's totally fine, because it's our lives, and we're all making the choices in our own lives that we feel are best for us. So just something I thought people should keep in mind. The individual experience of bipolar and what it means to you. And maybe you should ask yourself that if you've never thought about it. If you have bipolar, what does it mean to you? What is it to you? Where does this fit in your life? Does this define your life? Is this a part of your life? What is it to you? Because you have the ability and the choice to define what it means to you. You're not necessarily controlling all the stuff that's happening to you, I guess, but you can decide how you feel about it.